The galaxy was changing, and everyone could feel it. Trade routes that were always full of ships were suddenly empty. Space stations that once shined with bright lights now floated like cold, metal ghosts. No one knew why entire civilizations had gone silent. No distress calls, no warning messages, no survivors. Only darkness. Captain Arya Kane was on patrol duty when she first noticed the signs. Her ship, the Horizon Spear, entered the outer sector known as the Silent Frontier. This region used to be full of alien traffic, but now it felt abandoned. As the ship moved through the sector, Arya saw floating cargo crates, damaged satellites, and drifting debris. What she did not see was life. Arya felt a heavy pressure in her chest. It was not fear, but something close to it. The crew remained quiet as their scanners tried to search for signals. But the screens showed nothing, not even a single transmission. It felt wrong, like walking into a huge city and hearing no sound at all. Then they found it. An entire colony floating in space with its energy systems still active. The buildings were intact. Lights were on. Machines were running. But every living being had vanished. Clothes were left on chairs. Food was still on tables. Classrooms still had books open. It looked as if everyone had stood up and walked away at the same moment. Commander Holt whispered, "Where did they go?" No one could answer. Arya gave the order to search deeper. Her crew moved through the colony, scanning every corner. There were no signs of struggle, no damage, no bodies, no traces of evacuation, only empty rooms and frozen silence. When they reached the control center, Arya saw the last recorded message. A hologram flickered to life. An alien leader appeared, breathing fast and shaking with terror. "They have awakened," he whispered. "Run. Run before they reach you. Run before." The hologram cut out. The crew stood still. No one spoke for several seconds. Then Arya quietly ordered everyone back to the ship. On the return path, the Horizon Spear detected thousands of small particles drifting through space. At first they thought it was cosmic dust, but after closer analysis, they realized the truth. These were pieces of destroyed ships, broken into microscopic fragments. Something powerful had crushed entire fleets into dust. When Arya returned to Earth Command, she reported her findings to the High Council. The room filled with military leaders, scientists, and diplomats. Many of them were frightened. Others simply refused to believe. Admiral Reeves leaned forward. "You're telling us the galaxy is running from something?" Arya nodded. "Yes, and it is moving toward us." Some members suggested evacuation. Others wanted to hide in deep bunkers. A few argued that humanity should abandon outer colonies and retreat to the inner systems. But Arya stood straight and said, "Every species we know is running. But we're not like them. We don't run. If we do, Earth will fall. We must prepare to fight." The room became silent once again, but this time the silence was heavy, not empty. Humanity had faced wars before, but this enemy was unknown, invisible, and powerful enough to erase entire civilizations without leaving any trace. At the end of the meeting, Admiral Reeves made the final decision. Humanity does not flee. Humanity stands its ground. As Arya returned to her ship, she looked at the stars outside the window. Somewhere out there, something was coming. Something that made whole galaxies run in terror. And now it was coming for Earth. The Silent Frontier was only the beginning. Earth Command did not have much time. After Captain Arya Kane's warning, humanity started scanning every region of space. At first, everything seemed normal. Planets showed regular activity, and communication networks were stable. But then, one by one, alien signals began to go silent. Entire star systems stopped sending messages. The galaxy was falling quiet again. The silence was spreading. Humanity was not the only species that noticed the danger. 3 alien ships arrived at Earth's orbit without warning, almost crashing into each other as they rushed toward the planet. They were damaged, burned, and broken. Their shields were collapsing. Their engines were failing. But they were not here for help. They were here to deliver a message. The alien ambassadors were brought to the Grand Hall under heavy security. They looked tired and full of fear. Their faces were pale, their voices shaking. It was clear they had seen something terrible. The first ambassador, a tall creature with crystal-like skin, spoke softly. "You must leave your world. The devourer is coming. It destroys everything in its path. It leaves nothing behind." The second ambassador interrupted, shouting, "Run! You humans are brave. Yes, but bravery will not save you. We fought. We failed. You must escape now before it reaches you." The room became tense. Some leaders looked afraid. Others were angry. But Admiral Reeves stayed calm. "We will not leave our home," he said. "Tell us what you saw." The ambassadors exchanged glances, then slowly revealed the truth. The devourer was not a normal enemy. It was not an army, not a species, not a machine. It was a swarm, a living storm, a force that consumed everything: metal, energy, planets, life. It fed on power itself. And every time it destroyed a world, it grew stronger. No weapon could stop it, the Crystal Ambassador whispered. We ran. Everyone ran. Captain Arya stepped forward. Why did the Devourer wake up now? What changed? The third ambassador, small and frail, looked down. We do not know. But the first worlds it consumed were ancient. Old civilizations with deep history. It moves toward younger systems now. Your region is next. A cold wave spread through the hall. If this was true, Earth had only weeks. The ambassadors begged Earth to join the great evacuation. They showed maps of hundreds of planets fleeing in massive convoys. Space lanes were filled with ships carrying millions of refugees. Planets were being abandoned, cities left behind. The entire galaxy was running. But humanity was not ready to run. Arya looked at the holograms. If we run, the Devourer will follow. We cannot escape forever. Admiral Reeves nodded. We stay. We defend. The alien ambassadors looked shocked. You cannot win, one of them shouted. Everyone who stayed is gone. Arya spoke softly but firmly. Then we will be the first to fight it, and maybe the first to hurt it. Humanity had always been different. Humans had fought wars with impossible odds. They had survived disasters bigger than themselves. Fear did not break them. It made them stronger. Within hours, Earth Command activated the Red Directive, the highest form of planetary defense. Fleets were prepared. Colonies were warned. Factories began producing weapons at full speed. Satellites were turned into surveillance stations. And deep under the surface of Earth, engineers started building something new, something powerful. A weapon that had never been tested before. A weapon created only for the worst possible moment. Meanwhile, Arya and her crew returned to the Horizon Spear. Her orders were simple. Find the Devourer's exact location. As the ship flew into the dark frontier, sensors began picking up something strange. A huge wave of heat, radiation, broken ships, echoes of destroyed systems. And then the alarm triggered. Something massive was moving toward a human colony. The Devourer had found them. And Part 3 would begin with humanity's first real battle. The human colony of Vega 9 was a peaceful world, known for its warm oceans and green valleys. Families lived there. Children played in schools. Farmers worked on the wide fields. It was one of the safest places in human space. But on this day, Vega 9 became the first target of the Devourer. Captain Arya Kane and the Horizon Spear arrived just minutes after the early warning signal. The colony looked normal at first. Buildings stood tall. The atmosphere was calm. But the scanners showed something terrifying. A massive energy wave was moving toward the planet from deep space. Arya ordered the ship into defensive mode. All stations ready, she said. This is not a drill. The enemy entered the system slowly, like a black fog spreading across the stars. At first, the crew saw nothing but darkness on the screen. Then shapes appeared, thousands of them. Not ships, not creatures, but something in between. They were like living machines, twisted and changing shape every second. Their bodies glowed with dark red lines, pulsing like veins. For a moment, everyone on the bridge froze. Commander Holt whispered, "It's alive. The whole swarm is alive." Arya did not hesitate. Activate front shields. Prepare all weapons. warned the colony to take shelter. The devourer swarm moved faster than anything they had seen. It did not use engines. It glided through space like a shadow, absorbing energy from the stars around it. When it reached the colony, the entire sky above Vega 9 turned black. Human fighters launched from the Horizon Spear, forming a defensive wall. The first shots were fired, bright beams of light hitting the swarm. But the beams disappeared instantly, absorbed as if the swarm was drinking the energy. The crew watched in shock. How do we fight something that eats our weapons? Holt asked. Arya clenched her jaw. We keep trying. She ordered the ship's experimental cannons to fire. This time, the impact pushed part of the swarm backward, scattering small fragments into space. It was the first time anyone had seen the devourer move away from an attack. The crew cheered, but only for a second. The swarm responded with a terrifying scream. Not a sound, but a wave of energy that shook the entire ship. Lights flickered. Engines stalled. Crew members fell to the floor. It felt like the devourer was trying to crush their minds. Arya steadied herself. Focus. Restart engines. The enemy moved toward the colony's shield. Vega 9 had a strong barrier, but it started to crack under the swarm's touch. The shield began to glow red, then orange, then white-hot. Shields won't hold, the engineer shouted. Arya made a bold decision. Bring the Horizon Spear between the swarm and the colony. We take the hit. The crew stared at her. No one questioned the order. The ship moved forward and stood directly in the swarm's path. The devourer slammed into them like a storm. The ship shook violently. Metal creaked. Systems flashed warnings. But the colony was safe for now. Then something happened that no one expected. The swarm hesitated. The devourer pulled back a little, almost confused. The experimental cannons had left marks, small but clear. The swarm had been hurt. Not destroyed, but slowed. Arya whispered, We can hurt them. We just need to find out how. The swarm suddenly changed direction. Instead of attacking Vega 9 again, it turned toward deeper human space. It was moving toward Earth. Arya felt her heart tighten. The message was clear. The devourer had recognized humanity as a threat, and now it wanted to erase them completely. She sent a final report to Earth Command. We made them bleed, but they're coming for us. The first stand was over. The real war was beginning. Across the galaxy, news of Vega 9 spread like fire. For the first time in many years, every major alien race watched the same recording. The moment when humanity forced the devourer swarm to pull back. No species had ever slowed the enemy before. No army had ever pushed it away, even for a second. The galaxy had only known fear. But humanity had given them something new. Hope. Alien councils, kings, and commanders replayed the footage again and again. They studied the strange human ship, the glowing experimental cannon, and the brave captain who placed her vessel between the swarm and a helpless colony. Many aliens whisper the same thing. Humans are different. Meanwhile, on Earth, the High Command analyzed every second of Arya's battle. Scientists filled giant screens with energy readings, swarm patterns, and biological data. Engineers argued, soldiers trained, and leaders planned for the worst. Earth was changing. The people were no longer living normal lives. Factories worked without stopping. Students trained as volunteers. Fleets doubled in size. Everyone knew the truth now. The devourer was coming for them. Admiral Reeves stood inside the war room, a giant circular room covered with holographic displays. He watched the path of the enemy's swarm, a long, dark trail cutting its way through star systems. The swarm was slow but unstoppable. Every day, another world went silent. When Arya returned to Earth for debriefing, Reeves met her personally. You stopped them for a moment, he said. No one else has done that. Arya shook her head. We didn't stop them. We only slowed them. And now they are angry. Reeves sighed. That's why we need you again. The galaxy is watching. Some allies are considering joining us. But they don't trust us yet. They need to see if humans can do more than survive. Arya understood. You want another victory. Reeves nodded. Before the swarm reaches Earth. But there was a problem. No one knew when the Devourer would attack again. The enemy moved like a shadow, unpredictable and silent. Human scouts were sent into deep space to track them, but most scouts sent only one message back. We see the darkness. And then nothing. Some never returned. But humans did not stop searching. Soon, a breakthrough came from a scientist named Dr. Lyra Devon. She discovered that the experimental cannon used on Vega 9 created a strange energy shock. The Devourer swarm reacted to this shock like a living organism feeling pain. We can't kill them, Lyra said, but we can disturb their hive mind, confuse them, slow them, maybe even trap them. Admiral Reeves looked at her plans. How long until we can build something stronger? She answered, we need time. But time was something humanity did not have. One evening, as the sun set behind Earth's steel defense towers, the call came in. A human colony named Helios Lane had gone silent. No signals, no ships, no survivors. Just like the alien colonies before. Reeves gathered the fleet commanders. This is it. They're testing us. They want to see our reaction. Arya stepped forward. Then we give them one. The human fleets prepared for departure. Massive battle cruisers filled the sky. Swarms of fighters lined up on runways. The new cannons, larger and more powerful, were installed on key ships. As Earth's fleets rose into the atmosphere, billions of people watched from cities and screens. Aliens across the galaxy watched too, waiting to see if humans would run like everyone else. They did not. The mission was simple. Investigate Helios Lane. Find survivors if possible. And if the swarm was waiting there, fight. The galaxy held its breath. Humanity was about to make its second stand. The human fleets approached Helios Lane with heavy hearts. The colony had been full of families, workers, scientists, and children. No one expected it to fall so fast. No one expected it to vanish without a single warning signal. Captain Arya Kane stood on the bridge of the Horizon Spear as the fleet reached the system. At first, everything looked normal. The planet was still green. The oceans still sparkled. Clouds still drifted across the sky. But there were no lights in the cities. No movement. No voices. Only silence. Commander Holt checked the scanners. No life signs. No power signatures. It's empty. The entire fleet felt a chill. Helios Lane had been eaten. Arya tightened her fists. Activate full scan. Look for any survivors. Anything. The scanners expanded across the planet and found nothing. Streets were empty. Buildings were complete, untouched, but lifeless. An entire world had been erased without a single shot fired. Admiral Reeves appeared on the holoscreen, watching from the command ship Titanus. This is the third colony in 2 weeks. The swarm is moving faster. Before Arya could answer, the ship's alarm screamed. A wave of dark energy burst into the system. Huge, thick, and rolling like a living storm. Lights flickered. Gravity fields trembled. The fleet lost communication for 4 full seconds. Then the Devourer appeared. Not in thousands, not in millions, but in billions. The entire star field on the right side of the system turned black as the swarm entered. Ships shaped like claws, wings, shadows, and shifting metal moved together like one giant creature. Red veins pulsed across the cloud, glowing brighter and brighter. Commander Holt whispered, This is their real strength. Arya took a deep breath. All fleets, prepare for combat. We stand here. The battle began instantly. Human fighters launched in waves. Cannons fired every second. The new experimental weapons shot bright bursts across space, each one pushing small parts of the swarm back. But the swarm responded with terrifying power. It released beams of dark energy that tore through space like lightning. One human cruiser exploded instantly. Another lost its shields. A third drifted away, broken. A scream echoed through the communications. Engine failure. We're hit. Help. The signal cut out, but humans did not break. The Horizon Spear took position at the front, firing its heavy cannons again and again. The shockwaves damaged the swarm's front line, creating small gaps. Other ships moved into those gaps, pushing the enemy back. Admiral Reeves activated the fleet-wide channel. His voice was deep, steady, powerful. Listen to me. If we fall today, the galaxy falls forever. There's no one left to fight but us. We stand here not for one planet, but for every world that has lost hope. This is humanity's night, and we will not run. Across the fleet, fear turned into fire. Every ship fought harder. Every pilot pushed forward. Every soldier refused to back down. But the Devourer was not finished. It released a second wave, far larger than the first. A massive pulse of dark energy shot toward the fleet like a tidal wave. Ships tried to escape, but the pulse was too fast. The wave hit the horizon spear first. The entire ship shook violently. Metal groaned. Panels shattered. Sparks flew across the bridge. Holt fell to one knee. Engineers shouted warnings. Front shields collapsing. Power lines breaking. Engines overheating. Then the worst thing happened. Earth's shield barrier, created to protect the planet from future attacks, began to flicker on the distant screen. Cracks of red light spread across it like veins of breaking glass. Commander Holt's voice trembled. If the shield breaks, Earth will fall. Arya looked at the swarm growing stronger, pressing forward like a living nightmare. This was humanity's darkest night, and the Devourer was just getting started. The Devourer's second wave crashed into the human fleet like a living tsunami. Ships spun out of control. Fire burst from damaged engines. The sky above Helios Lane turned into a battlefield of broken metal and burning light. On the horizon spear, alarms screamed without stopping. Engine 2 offline. Rear shields down. Internal heat rising. Captain Arya Kane gripped the edge of her command chair as the ship shook again and again. Sparks flew across the bridge. The floor trembled with every new hit. But she refused to fall. She refused to give up. Not today. The swarm advanced in a massive wall of darkness, growing thicker and heavier every second. It looked unstoppable. It looked eternal. But far below the battle, deep under Earth's surface, something was finally ready. Dr. Lyra Devon stared at the activation panel of the new weapon, the quantum disruptor. Her hands shook slightly, but her eyes were clear. If this fails, she whispered, humanity ends tonight. The weapon did not destroy the enemy. It did something more dangerous. It attacked the Devourer's hive mind. A soldier beside her waited for the final command. Dr. Devon, activating it could overload the planet's energy grid. She nodded. Then we overload it. This is our last chance. Her hand pressed the button. A shockwave of bright blue energy burst from Earth, racing upward through space like a star being born. It reached the battle within seconds and hit the Devourer swarm directly. The effect was immediate and terrifying. The swarm screamed. Not a sound, but a vibration that cut into every human ship. The Devourer cloud twisted, curled, and scattered. The red veins running across its body flickered. The black fog broke into pieces. Commander Holt gasped. It's working. They're confused. For the first time in the entire war, the Devourer acted like a wounded beast. Parts of the swarm slammed into each other. Other parts drifted in wild directions. Their shapes collapsed and expanded in chaos. Arya stood from her chair. All ships attack now. Hit them while their mind is weak. Humanity charged. Fighters burst forward like streaks of lightning. Cruisers fired heavy cannons. The experimental weapons sent shock waves of disruptive energy, tearing holes through the swarm. And then something incredible happened. Alien ships appeared. Hundreds of them. Then thousands. Species that had run before came back. A voice echoed through the communication channel. It was the crystal-skinned ambassador from earlier. Humanity, you stood when we fled. We will fight with you now. Another voice, deep and rough. Together, we may live. Alone, we will all die. More fleets arrived from across the galaxy. Bright ships, dark ships, giant ships, small ones, all taking formation behind the humans. Admiral Reeves watched from his command ship. This is the first united galaxy in history. The combined fleet fired together. The Devourer's swarm howled again, shrinking further, losing control. But the enemy was far from finished. A massive shadow entered the battlefield. At first, everyone thought it was a planet. Then they saw it move. It was bigger than any ship ever built, larger than most moons. Its body was covered in sharp black armor. Red cracks glowed across its surface like molten lava. The Devourer Queen had arrived. Arya felt the temperature drop around her. That's the source of the hive mind. The Queen's enormous eyes opened, two burning suns of red light. And with a single pulse of energy, she restored order to the swarm. The enemy formations regained shape. The chaos ended. The Queen had taken control. Admiral Reeves whispered, "This is it. The final battle." The Devourer Queen unleashed a roar that shook space itself, and the whole galaxy prepared to fight for its last chance at survival. The Devourer Queen hovered at the center of the battlefield like a living black planet. Her body pulsed with dark red light, each pulse sending new orders to the swarm. The galaxy's fleets trembled as the creature opened its massive jaws, revealing a core of swirling energy powerful enough to erase a moon. Captain Arya Kane stared at the screen, feeling the weight of the moment. "That thing," she whispered, "is the heart of the Devourer." Commander Holt swallowed hard. "If we don't stop her, everything ends." The Queen made her move. A beam of pure destruction shot from her core and sliced through space. 3 alien ships vanished instantly. A human destroyer exploded like dust in the wind. The shockwave sent dozens of ships spinning. Admiral Reeves clenched his fists. "All fleets, focus fire. Aim for the Queen's armor cracks." The galaxy obeyed. Human ships, alien carriers, cruisers, and fighters launched a storm of attacks. Lasers, missiles, energy bursts, and gravity bombs filled the darkness. For a moment, it looked like they might overwhelm the Queen. But her armor held, and then she unleashed the swarm. Billions of Devourer drones poured forward, covering the battlefield like a moving sea. They slammed into the United Fleet, ripping through shields, tearing into hulls. Screams filled the communication channels. Arya's voice was steady, but her heart raced. "Keep firing. Do not retreat." The Horizon Spear fought at the front, its cannons glowing from constant fire. The ship trembled under the attacks, but it held its place like an unbreakable shield. Dr. Lyra Devon appeared on the emergency channel. "Captain, listen. This weapon you used earlier, it didn't just disturb the hive mind. It marked the Queen. It created a weakness in her energy patterns." Arya's eyes widened. "A weakness we can use?" "Yes, but someone must get close to her." "Very close." Arya nodded slowly. She already knew what that meant. She turned to her crew. "We're going in." Holt stared at her. "Captain, the Queen's energy field will destroy us." "Only if we wait," she said. "Prep the disruptor cannon. Aim everything at that weakness." The Horizon Spear pushed forward through the battlefield. The swarm crashed against them, but Allied ships blocked the path, sacrificing themselves to open a corridor. Alien Captain shouted, "Go, humans! We will cover you. Your courage brought us here. Finish this." The Queen saw the ship approaching. Her giant eyes narrowed. A wave of drones rushed toward the Horizon Spear, but human fighters intercepted them. Arya felt her breath shaking, but kept her voice firm. "All power to forward shields. Bring us within range." The Queen released another destructive blast. It hit the Horizon Spear directly. The bridge filled with smoke. Panels shattered. Crew members fell as the ship groaned under the force. "Shields at 12%, a technician shouted. Holt yelled, "We can't take another hit." But Arya pointed forward. "We don't need to survive. We just need to fire." The ship reached the critical distance. "Disruptor ready," shouted the engineer. Arya raised her hand. "Fire." A massive burst of blue energy shot from the Horizon Spear, hitting the glowing crack in the Queen's armor. The energy ripped through the Devourer's hive mind. The Queen screamed, a sound that shook every soul in the galaxy. Red cracks spread across her body like lightning. The massive creature twisted violently, her armor splitting apart. The entire swarm went wild, losing control. Reeve shouted, "The Queen is breaking. All ships, hit her now." Every remaining vessel fired at once. The combined force of humanity and the galaxy tore through the Queen's core. With one final cry, the Devourer Queen exploded into a storm of red and black particles that faded into nothing. And then, silence. The swarm collapsed instantly. The battlefield became still. No more darkness. No more destruction. The Devourer was dead. Arya sank in her chair, exhausted. Holt let out a trembling breath. Across the galaxy, soldiers wept, cheered, held each other. Humanity had done what no one else could. They had stood. They had fought. And they had won. Admiral Reeves spoke softly as he watched the stars clear. Courage, he said, is not the absence of fear. It is standing firm when everyone else runs. The galaxy would never forget the species that refused to flee. Humanity had risen and saved them all.